had these tremendous polls, just like we do here in Iowa, and I'd say, please, it's very important. We have to keep our eye on the ball in November, and we're sending a signal. So even if you don't believe the polls, or even if you think we're 1 point down, we're not. We're like 30 points up. But don't believe me. You have to get out and you have to vote. I joked the other night. I got a little heat for it. I said, listen, darling, you're not feeling well, but I don't care. You have to get up. We have to vote. We have to. But I'm not feeling well. It doesn't make any difference. You have to vote. And I went a step further. I said, even if it means the ultimate, you got to vote. Because we've got to save our country. All the information you need is available at nh.donaldjtrump.com. Everything's available. So we do have to create the margins. We're going to be in great shape in terms of winning, but the margins, and I think that's why we got, I guess, 52%. They said it would be almost impossible to get over 40, and we got 52% last night, which is great. Biggest margin in history. Biggest margin, by a lot, the biggest margin in history. With your help, 1 week from now, we're going to win the New Hampshire primary.
And then there were two. Yeah, we got to talk about the latest news. Latest breaking news regarding the Republican primaries. Ron DeSantis. Take it away, brother.
Greetings from Florida. The warmth of being home is a reminder why I've chosen public service. From joining the United States Navy and serving in Iraq to representing the people in the U.S. Congress and now serving as governor of Florida. And it reminds me why I decided to run for president, to fight for those who've been forgotten in this country. This is America's time for choosing. We can choose to allow a border invasion, or we can choose to stop it. We can choose reckless borrowing and spending, or we can choose to limit government and lower inflation. We can choose political indoctrination, or we can choose classical education. These choices are symptoms of the underlying struggle to ensure that constitutional government can endure and that Western civilization can survive. Now, we launched this campaign to bring accountability to government, regain sovereignty at our border, and restore sanity to our society. We cannot succeed as a country if we allow our nation to be invaded, our currency to be debased, our cities to crumble, and our kids to be indoctrinated. The DC elites who facilitated this mess do not care about you, and they do not work for you. They work for themselves. They seek to accumulate power at your expense to pursue an agenda that is harmful to the American people. Citizens do not serve politicians. It is the duty of politicians to serve you. Talk is cheap. Actions speak louder than words. Reversing the decline of this nation requires leadership that delivers big results for the people we are elected to serve. I have a record of leading with conviction, championing an agenda marked by bold colors, delivering on my promises, and defeating the people who are responsible for our nation's decline. That is the type of leadership we need for all of America. Now, over the past many months, Casey and I have traveled across the country to deliver a message of hope that decline is a choice and that we can, in fact, succeed again as a nation. Nobody worked harder, and we left it all out on the field. Now, following our second place finish in Iowa, we've prayed and deliberated on the way forward. If there was anything I could do to produce a favorable outcome, more campaign stops, more interviews, I would do it. But I can't ask our supporters to volunteer their time and donate their resources if we don't have a clear path to victory. Accordingly, I am today suspending my campaign. I'm proud to have delivered on 100% of my promises, and I will not stop now. It's clear to me that a majority of Republican primary voters want to give Donald Trump another chance. They watch his presidency get stymied by relentless resistance, and they see Democrats using lawfare this day to attack him. Well, I've had disagreements with Donald Trump, such as on the coronavirus pandemic and his elevation of Anthony Fauci. Trump is superior to the current incumbent, Joe Biden. That is clear. I signed a pledge to support the Republican nominee, and I will honor that pledge. He has my endorsement because we can't go back to the old Republican guard of yesteryear, a repackaged form of warmed-over corporatism that Nikki Haley represents. The days of putting Americans last of kowtowing to large corporations, of caving to woke ideology are over. I thank all of our passionate supporters who have stood by us through it all. That we had people volunteer to come to Iowa in the middle of a blizzard to knock on doors and make phone calls touched us dearly. No candidate had more thrown at him, but no candidate had so many committed volunteers and staff. Finally, I want to thank my wife, Casey, and our kids, Madison, Mason, and Mamie. Casey's gone far above and beyond in her support for our campaign and for our cause. She's not only a great wife and mother, she's a great American who cares deeply about the future of the country that our kids will inherit. Our kids have seen and done a lot on the trail, from playing on the famed Field of Dreams baseball site in Iowa to making their first snowman in New Hampshire. They are one of the reasons we fight so hard for what we believe in. Winston Churchill once remarked that success is not final, failure is not fatal, it is the courage to continue that counts. While this campaign has ended, the mission continues. Down here in Florida, we will continue to show the country how to lead. Thank you, and God bless.
Your ears did not deceive you. Ron DeSantis has officially dropped out of the race. And that is why I started it off by saying, and then there were two. It is a two-horse race now. It is officially a two-horse race. And I'm not really surprised that DeSantis dropped out, right? Because there have been some polls that have come out, from New Hampshire that, to say the least, haven't been very favorable. Check it out. As you can see here, we have Trump at 52%, Nikki Haley at 38%, and Ron DeSantis at 6%. Yeah. So, and that's not the only one that had DeSantis down or was negative for DeSantis. Even if you want to take a look at other polls, check out this one. Trump 55, Nikki Haley 36, DeSantis 6. Yeah, so not looking too good for Ron DeSantis, but he did the right thing, dropped out, and endorsed Donald Trump, because obviously we all know who Nikki Haley is, right? And I don't see a path to victory for Nikki Haley either. You had a guy like Tim Scott, who is from her state of South Carolina, who is endorsing Donald Trump. And that's not the only person. Check out this clip.
Carolina is interesting because President Trump is bringing a brigade of South Carolina policymakers, lawmakers up here to New Hampshire. Nikki Haley's home state is South Carolina.
Yes.
What message is President Trump sending with this move?
We're sending a loud and clear message to Nikki Haley that she has no pathway to this nomination. She never has had one. She never will has one. As you mentioned, nearly the entire South Carolina state delegation is joining President Trump here in New Hampshire tonight. We are always playing 2 steps ahead on Team Trump. And as President Trump himself has said, while we may be ahead in the polls, we're going to play like we are 1 point behind. So we're already looking ahead to South Carolina and Nevada. But of course, our main focus is on turning out the vote here on Tuesday and letting every single voter in this state know, whether they are registered Republicans or those unaffiliated voters that can vote on Tuesday, Nikki Haley cannot be trusted on the issues that matter to you and your family. She sold out South Carolina's agricultural land to the CCP. She promised to implement a 23% national federal sales tax. I cannot tell you how devastating that would be for this great state when we don't have a sales tax at all for hardworking, middle class, and low-income families who are already suffering from Bidenomics to pay 23% more every time they go to the grocery store. That's unfathomable. It's unacceptable. We cannot afford that, and we cannot afford Nikki Haley.
No, we cannot. Absolutely not. So I don't see a path to victory for Nikki Haley either. But hey, she's got the backing of the establishment, so I don't expect her to drop out. My prediction is that she's obviously going to continue with New Hampshire, and she may continue one more time. She may allow herself to lose one more time, and then she'll drop out, and it'll be over. That's my prediction. But who knows? Who knows? When you have the backing of, the establishment, anything could happen, right? With the type of dollars and money that they are putting behind, allegedly putting behind Nikki Haley. Who knows? Who knows, right? Now, if Iowa was any indicator of how that's going to go, then, I mean, it's gonna be over pretty quickly, because I want to say I heard that she spent like $100 million. She spent a crazy amount in Iowa and still came in third. So if that's any indicator of how things are going to go, then she's in trouble, in major trouble. It's Trump all the way. It always has been Trump, right? Since they started dropping the indictments, it was going to be Trump the whole time, right? It was going to be Trump, and that was it. But yeah, y'all let me know your thoughts, your opinions in the comment section below. How do you think this is going to play out? When do you think she will drop out? Let me know in the comment section. All right. Peace and love. I'm out.